a consumable time until our heads just go.
Consumable time.
We can drink it, and then we get sick afterwards.
It's really edible.
Yeah. Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 722. Trope Talk, Dragons. It's with Red, as always, and that is one of the most generic things you can make for a Trope Talk, just the big monster guy. You could take that in any way. You could have any genre. You could have for kids. You could have adults. You could have all kinds of in between. So hopefully she will keep her female brain from just jumping in every direction possible and just going directly into like one story or one specific book or anything, really, to keep her brain in one place. That would be great. And then we could follow her and go, yes, you're right. No, you're wrong. And go to bed and wake up the next morning and go, yes, everything made perfect sense. We're not driving ourselves mad anymore. So that's the hope. Alrighty. When did this come out? This came out 3 years ago. It has 2 million views.
Of course, it's about dragons.
It's about dragons, therefore it's popular? Why? What happened 2 years ago?
And it's a rambly woman voice talking about dragons. Of course it's popular.
So it's actually about dragons and not drag on, as in like a
drag on
actual thing.
I am sure she's gonna drag on with the topic without saying
no, like drag queens and like drag shows.
Those are different dragons.
I thought they were gonna make a joke about the Dragon Dragoon anime, but
no, that's gonna be for Monday.
Oh, maybe
that's too much of a pun.
Yeah.
I got my bingo card out for if you mentions bad dragon.
Did we ever make a bingo card for Red? I don't think we did. I never saw it.
Not officially, no.
Yeah,
we don't do that for women.
it's too chaotic. We have no idea. It could be anything. It's just random crap on a piece of paper. You know?
Look, if Scribelight can manage to do it, then we can too.
Oh.
Women are just incapable of the level of autism that you can encounter with, like, what's that, Christian? Although we never covered Christian just before.
No, I don't want to.
Thank fuck.
Never.
Yeah, we never will.
Not
anyway,
yet.
Anyway, 18 minutes. Here we go. Holy crap, she's going to be talking very quick.
This video was sponsored by World Anvil. We can't guarantee the furnace is heated by dragonfire, but we can't guarantee that it isn't either. Dragons, you know the ones. Big, scaly, fire-breathing, sometimes not any of those things. But let's be real, dragons aren't so easily defined, and that's what makes them so special. Dragon comes from the Greek drakon, meaning dragon. No, but literally it means one who stares. But despite the Greek etymology of the word, dragons aren't localized to any one region or mythos. In fact, they're damn near universal. So before we get into their uses in modern media, let's run down some prominent mythical dragons. Isn't this?
Big skeleton found, usually spine left, looks like big snake, makes scary. Done.
Every culture.
Well, the scariest creature at the time, like one of the most ominous signs is like birds around the same period.
Imagine
when
just finding an old
originated.
You're talking about Red?
Finding an old dinosaur head.
All right.
Fun, you get a Trope Talk Animates video for the price of one. Chronologically, we can probably pin down the first known dragons in human history as Tiamat and Abzu from Mesopotamian mythology. Abzu and Tiamat are primordial deities and lovers representing fresh and salt water respectively, and when Abzu is killed by the new generation of gods, Tiamat is enraged and gives birth to the first dragons. Abzu and Tiamat themselves aren't really physically described, they're both primordial gods who got killed and repurposed into forming the actual world, but Tiamat is occasionally represented as a giant serpent, and her draconic offspring are described as hybrids between serpents, lions, and birds, so pretty textbook dragons. We can also pin down
No. That's chimeras. Chimeras are not necessarily dragons.
I appreciate the history lesson. I'm just wondering where this is taking us.
Nowhere.
It sounds like she's just going to stop it and then just start another random thread.
This is like the video in and of itself. This is just rambling.
To understand how werewolves are used in modern media, we're going to need to explain the wolf cults of Greece mythology. No, we don't. Just get to the point. You can spare us like 6 minutes of a preamble.
Yeah, they're going to do all kinds of mythological creatures that are dragon-like. They have dragon features. You're like, okay.
If she doesn't bring up the Tatzelwurm, I'm going to be sad.
All right.
Early dragon in the Tanakh with Behemoth and Leviathan, two apocalyptic monsters, again vaguely described, but representing primordial chaos on land and in the sea, respectively. The Leviathan is directly derived from Lotan, a massive sea serpent from Ugarit mythology that was defeated by a storm god. And keep an eye on that theme. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Behemoth seems to have influenced Bahamut, which in some Arabian mythologies is an occasionally winged enormous sea monster and or fish that carries the world. Egypt gives us the noteworthy serpents Apophis and Ouroboros. Apophis, as we've discussed before, is the giant spiky serpent that tries to eat Ra every night, while the Ouroboros is an unnamed piece of popular iconography found in some funerary texts that alchemists got way into later.
So snakes and fish are dragons, okay?
The Norse give us Jormungandr, another enormous god-eating serpent, and another one famously defeated by a storm god, in this case Thor. This is a motif across basically
No, it's the same one. It's the same snake.
all Indo-European mythologies, and even some beyond that, so we're going to be seeing a lot of it. But this
Oh, there we
also
go.
isn't the only dragon around here. The Nidhogg is a dragon that gnaws at the roots of Yggdrasil, and in the Volsunga saga we have Fafnir, one of the most...
Okay, it's the Nidhogg? You mean Nidhogger? It is a being.
She's just listing them and just saying they did this, they did that. It's like, and the significance of all this information is...
Please elaborate on how Nidhogg are the creation of tremblings in the earth, aka earthquakes, equates to Tiamat, a creature that is carved up for a creation myth, compared to the snake that chases the sun around. Please explain that to me. They seem to serve very different purposes in mythology.
Yeah.
As well as Fafnir, who was a man.
How
Turned
does Solid
into a
Snake
dragon.
come into this equation, by the way?
No, was Fafnir a dwarf?
Fafnir was a man. He was loosely related.
Like a dwarf that turned so greedy he turned into a dragon. Might be thinking of
Like from
a
the
different creature.
I'm just going off the Elder Edda, and there's nothing like that. It's basically the whole how Fafnir turned from man to dragon is missing in that. But Siegfried, one of the two, I keep mixing up the names, met him as a man in the beginning and later slays him when he's a dragon. An actual dragon, not snake, just boring snake thing.
Okay, so here's what I remembered. So Fafnir in Norse mythology is a dwarf whose brother was killed by Loki, and he then beseeches the gods alongside his kin for compensation. And after that, he becomes so greedy he hawks all the gold and runs away and becomes a dragon.
All right. Again, that's great. I just want to know where she's going with all of this info.
Exactly. What is it trying to tell us? Is dragon a sign of greed? Is it a sign of destruction? Is it rebirth? What is the purpose of the snakes?
This segment's purpose is that, like, she opened Wikipedia and opened
This
dragons,
encyclopedia.
and then listed all the names and like the synopsises.
Yeah,
for
maybe
each and every category.
She asked ChatGPT, give me a list of all the dragons starting from their origin, like their oldest to the youngest, and it's just like, there is Fafnir back in who did this. You're like, okay, thanks.
Here's this
there's
snake,
no-
and there's
there's
another
no-
snake, and then there's a snake in the Bible.
And there's
Is
no
Satan
purpose
a
to her
dragon?
examples. Where's the red thread red?
Yeah. Anyway.
iconic dragons. A dwarf transformed into a dragon through his own greed, and also maybe that giant pile of cursed gold he stole. Hinduism gives us Vritra, a draconic personification of drought, and
What I just explained, but she doesn't actually go into what it means.
Yeah.
No, but she
Were
has.
you
she has
expecting her
evil
to
eyebrows.
explain anything here?
Kinda. She has 18 minutes.
Yeah. Anyway.
archenemy of the storm god Indra, yet another storm god versus giant snake Mortal 11 scenario. In Mesoamerica, the most well-known dragon is the deity Quetzalcoatl, a flying feathered serpent that pops up in basically every pre-colonial civilization in the region. He's not the only dragon, though. Xiuhcoatl is a small fire serpent wielded as a weapon by Huitzilopochtli the sun god. If you've ever seen a picture where it looks like he's holding a curved spiked club, it's actually a fun-sized dragon. And a bit further south in the Inca Empire is the Amaru, a two-headed serpent that lives at the bottom of bodies of water. Australia gives us the rainbow serpent,
I don't care, Red. Just random names.
Point, please.
a similar role guarding the golden fleece. Helios' chariot is sometimes pulled by winged serpents. Ketos is the sea monster.
Okay, we're advancing here.
Snakes are dragons, okay.
also gives us the unnamed dragon from Beowulf,
Oh my god.
Qinghai Lake, and the Essence of Autumn, who you may remember from their cameos.
Okay, keep going.
An 8-headed snake killed
This is
by.
gonna be a
Wait for it.
quick video.
Oh my
Xyro the Storm
God.
Boom. Now that's a pretty solid rundown of the major folk.
Holy
you skip
hell!
It took
5
me
minutes?
5 fucking minutes to get to the point.
Just to list the dragons in history and mythos. Thanks. Why did you do that? That's like me going up to you and saying, "Hey, do you like knives? I know different kinds of knives. There's 20 different kinds I've researched. Here's this one and this one. I talk about for 5 minutes about knives." And you're like, "Who are you and why are you pointing to me at knives?"
Let me tell you about
I-
folding katanas.
I opened the in the part.
1,000 times nippons.
I opened the part we skipped. She mentioned Chinese dragons being rivers.
Well, yeah, that was the cool thing about Chinese dragons. They're long and wiggly.
Sky
They're
blue.
usually not antagonistic.
Yeah, you can like collect like 7 crystal balls and like make a wish or something.
Isn't that a foundation?
I like this story better than hers. Anyway.
Gloriously, there are more, but I'm trying to do a video here, and this gives us plenty to work with. Now, one might be tempted to try and do some kind of taxonomical breakdown of categories of dragons based on morphology and stuff. Numbers of legs, wings, preferred habitat, etc. But while that could be fun, there's not really a point here.
Why did you
Snakes
bring
are not dragons.
Why did you bring that up? We can do lots of dumb shit, but there's no point to it because it's dumb shit. Oh, that's great. Thanks, Red.
But what does this have to do with the trope itself? Miss 5 minutes into the video and not talking about the trope itself in a story.
Goodbye.
Who the fuck cares how it's drawn? Stupid bitch.
Real animal that evolved. You can't arrange them on a clade. Fire breath developed, and if it was before or after ground-based dragons split off from the sea serpent line or whatever. We're looking at these guys from a story perspective. So
There
instead
are
of trying to
people who
categorize
tried.
by legs or wings or scales, let's start breaking them down by what role they play in a story and what qualities inform that. So let's
Yes, that's please.
Yeah.
Finally, the video can begin.
It's almost 6 minutes in. We finally getting to a point.
that. So let's start big. Thanks to Tiamat, Abzu, Bahamut, Behemoth, Leviathan, Typhon, Jormungandr, and Apophis, the concept of an apocalyptically enormous dragon is pretty well precedented. Apocalyptic dragons tend not to feature directly in a
What about Nidhogger, who literally gnaws at the world tree? Does he not count as an apocalyptically big dragon?
Maybe she thinks it's a small one relative to the size of the world tree.
That's a good question. What is the size of the world tree?
The world.
It has several planes of existence attached to it.
Yeah.
story.
It's the universe.
Super final boss, and are more likely to be in the background lore as some kind of ultimate enemy or former threat defeated by a god or something, unless it's a kaiju movie, in which case full steam ahead
Stop it.
on the dragon apocalypse. Apocalyptic dragons are also often evil gods or god-scale threats, and it's also not unheard of for dragons to be framed as explicitly demonic. This probably has roots in the Western European dragon as metaphor for paganism thing, but dragons, even the really big ones, aren't always evil. Now thanks to Chinese dragons, Quetzalcoatl, Tiamat, Abzu, Bahamut, and the Rainbow Serpent,
Did she just... Oh, wait. Okay. I was like, Quetzalcoatl's not Chinese. Never mind. She went so fast.
She's still on the topic, but like she has very SP vibes into it. Yeah.
one surprisingly common draconic trait in modern media is divinity. Many dragons are either gods, godlike, or just generally magical and positive thinking. Divine dragons usually fill a support role rather than being the focus of the story, providing guidance, wisdom, magic, or whatever. Being much more magical than the typical monster dragon, these dudes can sometimes end up being a bit more of a dragon ex machina than anything else, popping out when the story needs some added coolness and then going away again. Related to the divine dragon and drawing on the same roots is the dragon shifter, a dragon who can turn human or at least humanoid. Chinese dragons could sometimes take human form, and Quetzalcoatl has one too, so there's plenty of precedent here among the more intelligent, less malevolent mythological dragons. This concept was kind of solidified in modern media by Dungeons & Dragons, where all dragons gain the ability to take a humanoid form, and this is, in fact, how half-dragons happen. Beyond D&D, you can sometimes
Only
get characters
when
who are
they are
descended
old
from
enough.
dragons and have sparse draconic traits for this reason. Also, sometimes if your big bad needs an upgrade before the final battle, they'll turn into a dragon. Just happens sometimes. Actually related to that is the draconic curse variant, which
Is she just listing random elements
Yes.
that has nothing to do? There's no through line. It's just...
I would have like just listed like the average like evil dragon, like a Smog from The Hobbit.
Let
but,
me pull out the Draconomicon from 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, give us the popular, like the top 3 popular instances of dragons in the past 20 years or something, and tell us the significance. Why do they exist? What are they useful for? What's the point of that in a story?
I don't think she can tell us a through line. I think she can only do full lists of things.
She's just reading Wikipedia and TV tropes and dumping
The
it.
free encyclopedia.
And I'm like,
There's no processing here.
What is the point of this?
From Fafnir, a dwarf who gradually transformed into for this kind of thing, including the Norwegian tale of Prince Lindworm, a prince who was born a dragon because his mother didn't listen to a witch and was only fixed by a brave young peasant girl who did listen to a witch. But anyway, mostly the source is Fafnir.
Because I don't know if I have dementia or something, but because like the first dragon category that like she mentioned, it was like the evil god kind of dragons that are just like the size of a
apocalyptic dragon.
Yeah, like so like that isn't even the main one. Like the one that like you encounter in folk tales and such shit like that.
Yeah, I remember growing up in the 80s, and there were at least two or three films about dragons. One of them was Never-Ending Story, which was a show for kids, and one of them was called The Last Dragon, which was kind of a comedy. It was kind of weird, but like give us something like Lionheart. I don't know, what was that one with Sean Connery? Was he played a voice of a dragon? Like, give us something modern that we can go, oh, this is why we have the dragon metaphor, and this is what it is nowadays, and St. George story. Like, give us something. Don't just list random shit. We're not going to follow along because it's just random shit. Make a point, have a meeting, say, oh, dragons are for this purpose primarily in the past 40 years, although the past 200 years it was this, past 1,000 years it was that. Great. Get us to speed. We don't need 7 minutes of just info dump.
So much rambling for absolutely nothing.
You can open an episode like this with showing the old Babylonian text or whatever you want with the oldest examples of dragons or dragon-like creatures we have, and explain the story and then how it changed to something relatively modern compared to that, say, Crystal Bottle or whatever, or Nidhogg or whatever you want to go with, and then modern examples of the Red Dragon and Dungeons and Dragons. Make a through line.
Yeah.
Mostly. In this version, a transformation into a dragon is a curse, often as a punishment for greed or hubris or something. This shows up in one of the later Narnia books as a direct homage to Fafnir. Also, in some lamer cases, it's not a physical transformation, but a character might start acting more draconic because of some cursed gold or whatever. Sorry, Hobbit movies, just because your dragon sickness plotline has roots in classic Scandinavian folklore doesn't mean it isn't stupid. Anyway, on a related note,
Why is it stupid?
Why is it stupid? Elaborate.
But I zoned out.
The
Hobbit movies are stupid, but that's another. The
dragon curse is stupid is the complaint.
Your video is stupid.
He's just jealous.
I thought she was complaining about the Hobbit movie.
No, it's the dragon curse itself she's complaining about.
Oh. All right.
And it's like some kind of Scandinavian.
Okay.
I couldn't listen to it because like she's rambling so fast.
I think she's just jealous she can't turn into a dragon.
It seems like the argument is that, he doesn't actually turn into a dragon, he just gets really greedy and gets obsessed with gold, when that's the entire setup for the fucking movies, whether you like them or not. It's a very basic concept, and so is it in the books.
All right.
hoarding stuff. Fafnir and his giant golden hoard, which was provoked by the theft of part of its hoard. But Greek mythology also has its fair share of dragons protecting magical artifacts or locations, so there's lots of precedent for this one. It's probably the most cliched dragon trope these days. Dragons just love them some gold, I guess. In the cases of more intelligent dragons, this can be something of an amusing character quirk, but in more antagonistic and monstrous cases, it's likely to be their driving motivation, either protecting their hoard or seeking out more stuff to put in it. Some modern media plays with the idea of dragons hoarding specific things depending on their individual personality, like first edition comic books or really shiny rocks. Amusingly, while dragon hoards used to be very common in Western European folklore, they became less popular MacGuffins as the region got more into chivalry, because gold is a much less noble reward than rescuing a princess. And on that note, some dragons are way into sacrificial young ladies. Between all those Western European folktales of knights rescuing princesses, the Japanese folktale of Susanoo killing the Orochi to save a girl from being sacrificed to it, and the iconic Greek myth of Perseus rescuing Andromeda from Kitos, it seems that dragons really like endangering young women. This is another pretty cliched one, and between that and the additionally maligned cliche of sexy lamp damsel in distress, most writers only bring it up to
Sexy lamp damsel? Does she mean the shape of the woman is shaped like a curved
I
lamp?
think she's saying lamb, as in sacrificial lamb.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, let's not go back. Another extra minute of red talking is just too much.
Yeah.
No need for sexy lamps.
The text on the screen was lamp, and I was like, "What the hell is a sexy lamp?"
What?
Showing
You just
the
look at a
donkey.
lamp and go, sexy lamp.
You know, like those dancing sunflowers.
I was thinking of was it the Christmas Carol, that movie with the guy with the dad who gets the leg of a woman as a lamp, and he's like, oh, it's so cool. He was rubbing it. His mom's like, what are you doing?
The dragon's just misunderstood. The girl is dating the dragon. It can get pretty weird. Now, a lot of modern dragons actually get written as not bad, just misunderstood.
Tell me you
After
didn't
all,
get
if you
turned
look
on
at
by
subverted
that.
Cliche, dragon is bad guy is a pretty well-trodden one. How this manifests kind of depends on how smart the dragon is, or rather, if it can communicate with humans. If the dragon can talk and is basically just a big scaly person, then one conversation with the protagonists is usually sufficient to reveal that it's actually a decent sort. But if the dragon's more animalistic, what usually happens is it turns out they're basically cats. Cats aren't malevolent.
What are we talking about? There's so many dragons in all kinds of games and fantasy stories. Can you be a bit more specific? Because I could list how you're wrong within the Pathfinder series alone. So where are we going? Is this a movie? Is this a book? I hate when she generalizes. She's built this up into God knows what, this big menagerie of random
Isn't
information.
that all she ever does?
I don't know. It's just like, oh, this is how it generally works. Like, where? In the West? What year? What book? What genre? What media? Give me a name. What is that on the screen? Does anyone know?
That is How to Tame a Dragon.
Okay, so it's for kids. All right, so maybe that's what you thought. Like, I don't know. Like, generally, this is what happens. Like, no, it doesn't. What? Neil Gaiman wouldn't do that. What are you talking about? Like, give me something.
But they can be social and hard to read if you don't really know your way around them. And if you scale that up about 500 times and give it fire breath, you can get some pretty serious collateral damage from misidentifying something as a scratching post. And humans might conclude that they are actually malicious when they're really just misunderstood and potentially adorable. Dragon as cat is an extremely popular interpretation, and
Dragon as cat? How about dragon as pet, not cat? That's kind of a weird thing.
No. She means with there are in these kids animation movies, when the dragons are really just animals, they have to behave either like dogs or like cats, or a mix of both. And How to Train Your Dragon, it's a mix of both cat and dog.
Well, that wouldn't be the same case with Game of Thrones or any other modern fantasy that I could think of.
No, you're right. In Game of Thrones, they are dragons.
Yeah.
and as a it can make dragons cute. Win-win. Now, this last one is no folkloric precedent for it as far as I can tell, and instead it can be traced back to Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Riders of Pern, which first came out in 1967. True to the name, this book features dragons as noble steeds for the first time basically ever. The dragons in this series form unique, lifelong psychic bonds with their chosen rider so they can work together as a single unit, and if one member dies, the other one usually doesn't survive either. This concept was later borrowed wholesale by Aragon, which is probably a little more familiar to most of you guys. Dragon as noble steed has since become a very popular concept.
Did you just entirely skip over Magic the Gathering?
Well,
And Dungeons and Dragons.
I can understand
Yep.
that.
And pretty much every other fantasy role-playing game.
In the past 50 years, yeah.
And probably He-Man.
Yep.
Because, let's be real, dragons kick ass, and therefore ass. Amusingly, the concept of bad guys riding dragons is actually a bit older.
But that's
Tolkien
not
had
a
his
dragon,
rights
though,
riding
right?
fell beasts.
What?
The Witch King. That's not a dragon, though.
For her, everything up from serpent is a dragon.
It's a pterodactyl.
To her, yeah, but she showed a picture of a pterodactyl as a dragon, and for her, a pterodactyl is a dragon. Just as a snake is a dragon. So we're basically on the level of
A bird's now a dragon.
It's a bird, yeah.
of Arrakis worm, sandworm is dragon, which you can ride.
Apparently.
which he wouldn't define as dragons because dragon, but were nevertheless large, scary winged
Unlike
animals. So all
you.
these traits are pretty cool, and overall create a lot of possibilities.
What is this? What are you doing? What are these things on the screen? Moral.
Those are anime stat charts.
I don't know what this is.
It would be great
But
if
it
I
does
could
kind
read
of beg a
those things.
question. A lot of ground for one trope to cover. Dragons can be everything from divine to satanic, animalistic to brilliant, personable to completely alien, and anywhere on the moral spectrum. We can't even pin down a physical
Well, it's like they have a personality. How does that work? I have no idea.
definition of what a dragon really is. Now, Tolkien had some pretty interesting thoughts on what defined a real dragon. According to Tolkien, there were only two, our old friends Fafnir and the Beowulf dragon. These guys were more than just big, scaly monsters. They meant something in their stories. Fafnir is an object lesson on the dangers of greed.
Thank you. Was that so hard? That took you 11 minutes to explain what the thing is and what it means.
No, only that it means something.
Yeah, it's just,
Not what it means.
It's like a complication during birth.
She's not yet said what it means, only that it means something,
There's a meaning,
according to Tolkien.
Definition 1. Yeah, she just read what Tolkien thought. Okay, that's fair enough.
How about she
Kinda smacks
starts
the
the video
inevitability
with
of
this?
age and mortality. To Tolkien, a dragon had to be essential to both the machinery and the ideas of the story. Essential to the machinery means important to the plot, while the rarer trait was being in line with the themes of the story. And you can kind of tell this in how he
Why would it have to be in line with the themes of the story? That's very...
Because dragon is greedy and evil. He eats dwarves.
Therefore, we must stop...
We want the gold.
Yeah, therefore Sauron is going to be greedy and evil or something. I don't know.
He will might ally himself with Sauron.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll give Tolkien a pass on this one because he does make a good point. With both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, the dragons are inherently tied to the greed of Morgoth.
Mhm.
Like they're created in his image, which is how you get Glaurung. So I can see why he
Smaug
would
is
think
definitely
that
plot relevant,
there's
but his
like only
pride and
2
deadly
relevant
greed are also
dragons in the
theme
world.
relevant, since those are the traits that end up leading to Thorin's downfall. This is a good angle, and it's very useful for the purposes of literary analysis, but I'm gonna respectfully disagree with the idea that these are the only dragons that matter. I think the fact that dragons can fill so many roles is much more interesting than the fact
That's because you call everything a dragon. Probably the garden hose as well.
few of them are actually structurally essential. Let's ask, why is the dragon the iconic fantasy creature? Why is it Dungeons and Dragons, not basements and basilisks, or mine shafts and manticores?
Because it's the ultimate fantasy creature. That is removed from all other chimeras.
And griffins, treasures and terrasks. Okay, sorry, I'll stop. Why are dragons so special? Well, there's a few reasons. Some of them we've already discussed. Since draconic folklore is present
have autism.
worldwide, dragons aren't restricted to any one specific region or culture, whereas critters like phoenixes, unicorns, or griffins are rather more localized and a little less universally recognized. We might wonder why exactly dragons are so widespread, and to that, I'd say we're asking the question backwards. It's because we categorize a lot of fundamentally different things as dragons.
Oh my
No,
god.
that's you.
You
That's
dishonest.
My
You're
brain,
projecting, Red.
my brain is so confused with stuff. Therefore, it's the opposite of what the question was.
Red, snakes are not dragons.
That's great.
A very big
What is
snake.
this Venn diagram again?
What is the meaning of a dragon? You know what? I don't know, but there's so many dragons. There must be many.
Furry,
many.
furry, no legs, two legs.
Okay, non-furry, no legs. Sandworm of Arrakis. I win.
Huge.
Big snakes. Mesopotamian dragons have bird wings and lion bodies. Hydra, Karimu, and Yamato no Orochi have way too many heads. Chinese dragons.
We're going back to this first part of your video. Why are you listing the dragons? Give us the why they were the way they were, not what they look like.
I ran out of material for my video, so I'm gonna start rambling again.
I think we're witnessing again how Red's brain works, or rather lack thereof, because she is incapable of processing information.
Yeah.
And therefore she
This-
can only
this is
vomit
condensed
the whole
autism. Like,
the whole
this is just
No, it's
like-
not autism.
It is autism.
Autism is capable.
Come on.
No, autism is capable of processing information and then
This
giving
is-
you
it's all a
structured
spectrum, Wisp.
a
Listen,
structured mass.
This
No,
is,
this is
a
just
spectrum.
no. This is
This is
anti-autism.
the women's side.
I know
We
female
also have to
autists. They're
take
not
into
like
equation
her.
that maybe she's on her period.
She's always on her period.
Well, it's
She's
kind
red.
of like you're doing the research.
That's why red.
You went to the library, you pulled out all the books, you read all the notes on dragons, and then I don't have an answer to this question. Let me reread my notes and just say them over again. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what don't you?
Well, but Mesopotamian dragons, and then we have the Chinese dragons.
Gods, while Western European dragons are animalistic monsters. Some of them are venomous, some of them have toxic blood, and only a sparse handful of them can actually fly. So it's not, why are there so many dragons? It's, why are we classifying all of these things as dragons?
Why are
And
you
we're always
classifying
like,
them all as dragons?
That is not. If there's okay,
I'm not doing that.
if you have, let's say, you're studying insects, the question is, why are there insects? Like, why are there so many insects? Like, those are very, very tiny, specific creatures in very specific parts of the world, and they grew and evolved in very specific ways. And you could research.
If you would
how-
classify a moose as an insect,
Earlier, there was a snake whose whole purpose in the mythology was to explain why the sun goes away. And that's because a snake swallows it, or attempts to swallow Ra, right? Who's the god of the sun? Egyptian myth, the thorny one. Right. That one doesn't have any reference to wings or flies. She just called it a dragon because it's a serpent. As if I pulled up the Wikipedia on the free encyclopedia right fucking now, I bet you it just call it a serpent.
Yeah, I mean, we could just say, what is the most famous dragon that everyone thinks of? Some people might say Fafnir. Some people might say a phoenix, Quetzalcoatl. I guess if you want to classify that as a dragon. Like, give us the meaning of those. Why are they so prevalent today? And work backwards. Say, okay, why was the story of St. George relevant? What was the point? What was the big idea? Is it just a big scary force that is impossible to comprehend? Is there some malevolence? What is the actual lore that is meaningful to the people of the time, that why that story was created and why it still lasts? That's all she has to do. She doesn't have to go through every single frickin' Chinese god, goddess, spirit form, whatever. It's not that she's making something that's big even more complicated.
Because dragon has never meant anything more specific than that. Language is really
Why would you assume one culture would have the same specific meaning for another?
Okay, now I'm getting really pissed. Because it seems like she's intentionally trying to make... It seems like she's intentionally trying to muddle things now.
Yeah, this is like there's so many variables of the thing, the class called dragon, and this culture does it this way, but they're all different. You're like, yeah, they're different cultures. Of course, they're different stories. They're different ideas. What do you?
But they're all down the same thing.
Yeah, it's like they mean different things to different people over the years, over the thousands of years we had stories. Like, yeah, that would be for any story, any character, any idea. That's fine. Give us the main one. Why do we use dragons?
defined use it, and dragon has historically meant so many different things that it can't really have a rigid definition.
Give one.
Now, dragons are everywhere because dragon can mean almost anything.
No, it's not
No.
a amorphous blob. What are you talking
an
about?
orc is not a dragon. A
Wait,
vampire is
what?
not a dragon.
Orc is now a dragon, okay.
This is so stupid. This is like
Generic monster is not a dragon.
Sufficiently powerful that can't readily be categorized as anything else. The most
Really?
universally consistent traits of folkloric dragons are powerful and
Thank you. You're getting adjectives. You know words. That's great. Okay. Powerful and important. That's pretty generic, but fine. We'll go with that.
they're never irrelevant, they're never harmless or even weak. Even the nice ones can usually be very destructive when angered. Folkloric dragons are always powerful, and if they're not explicitly friendly, they are always a serious threat. This doesn't apply as universally to modern media, but you might have noticed it's always a purposeful subversion to make a dragon harmless. It surprises the audience because the danger is supposed to be baked in. So a cute tiny dragon or a dragon that can't breathe fire is often played for comedy because it's an inherent contradiction to their original nature. Dragons
No, it's for children. Because it's cool to have a monster friend.
Yeah, when we have anime with dragon girls that transform into dragons or whatever, there's reasons why creators like those concepts. They've been around for decades. And if you want to talk about the modern or the Japanese manga take on fantasy or their version of or flavor of fantasy, great. Use their folklore, use their religion, and go into that.
But or you have the French dragon Grisou who wants to be a firefighter.
Oh yeah. Does the genres should answer those questions for you? Why it's designed for kids or adults or young adults? Pretty obvious why they have dragon maids and big dragon fights with rankers that are level 500 in their reverse isekai or whatever. So there's obvious answers to all this. And she's just using the classification as it's they could be powerful, they could be cute, but that's a reversion of it's like, no, they're supposed to be that way.
It's just a theory, a dragon theory.
Yeah.
Thanks for wasting.
Now the reason why I'm kind of miffed is that her question was, why dragons? Why is that the one that's so popular? Why is it so darn popular? And she doesn't answer that. She just says that, it's very general. That's not how this works. You can't just say, most people had swords back in the day, so that's why swords are popular. No, it has meaning. There are roots to this shit. You can't just say, a lot of people used swords at one point, when the main weapon of history was the spear, yet the sword is the one that we always refer to when thinking of the chivalrous time, because it has a roots in a certain period.
So is the spear another sword?
It could
It's a sword on a stick.
Because
It's
both of them have a pointy end.
Yeah, it
spear's a stick sword.
By
sticks
all
like
right,
hell.
it should be the symbol of chivalry, shouldn't it? Since everyone's been using spears forever. But fine, no, that's like the secondary, if not the third, to the sword. The fucking axe has more relevance in popular depictions than the spear. Excuse me, because the sword has roots in chivalry. Same with the red dragon. The red dragon was a description of the devil from the Bible. The depiction of the knight slaying the red dragon is the knight slaying Satan, slaying evil. There's a reason why Tolkien's dragons and most of the dragons he refers to are the ones that focus on greed, is because there is a very concrete symbology of them as concrete evils that must be slain for the good of humanity.
We must vanquish the red evil on the screen
Wankrish?
by ending
Vanquish.
this video. Wank.
We're almost done. It's all right.
All of this could be covered.
Mike, that's the wrong video.
Yeah.
That could be made into its entire thing, and that's what I thought she was at least gonna make the devil comparison. Because fucking Deathwing exists. Deathwing, the guy that literally he looks like a fucking devil, and it's a dragon. He's the most obvious hint. And hey, remember at that time the devil was described as a red dragon?
I'm
I
trying
think there was
to
a horror
remember.
movie about that whole thing.
Genesis
That was
1:16.
I thought it was a serpent.
There's lots of depictions of the devil in the Bible, so I don't know about the dragon version.
The entire thing is, it's aside from the devil mythology or chaos mythology, it is, after all, a dangerous, mysterious creature, even if it is a small little Tatzelwurm, which is like a tiny version of a Chinese dragon. It's a German version of a dragon, and it just slithers away, but it can bite you to death very quickly. So don't get near it. Be careful when you go into the woods. There are dangerous creatures there. That's one reason for dragons. It's this mysterious thing. Be careful. Don't just run off.
Yeah, we have stories for folklore to teach lessons. Yeah. Okay. 13 minutes and a half. All right, we got 4 minutes left, or 5 minutes left, rather.
In the
Single
wildness
consistent
thing,
through
in
line.
the wildness thing, it is basically the idea of, even if you think you know all the creatures in the forest, there can still be something that you don't know, that you haven't seen yet, and that you don't know how dangerous it is. So always be careful.
The single in their mythical portrayal. Compare a dragon to any other popular folkloric creature. A griffin is a lion plus a bird. A phoenix is a bird plus fire. A kraken is a giant tentacly sea monster that attacks ships.
Yeah, and a dragon could be any flying beast creature with the same properties. What's your point?
Please say sandworm.
With a man's head and a scorpion's tail. A chimera so it breathes fire. A unicorn is horse plus spike. A mermaid is top half of
Horse plus spike? Is that?
Biologically, a unicorn is still a dragon.
Yeah.
Is a Kirin a dragon in her? Because in Monster Hunter, a Kirin is a
I was
dragon.
about to mention.
Are you telling me if I slap ice cream on a horse's head, that's now a unicorn? Okay.
Yes.
And that is also a dragon.
It's a rainbow unicorn dragon.
What the?
Depending on the flavor of ice cream you use.
woman plus fish. A minotaur is head of bull plus body of man.
Minotaur.
She's
Minor
just saying
issue.
random things again. Why?
Is she just reading a script without actually understanding the word she's reading?
Why is she having an aneurysm again?
Minotaur? Minotaur?
Minotaur.
Eeny, meeny, minotaur?
The king was called Minos, so it is a Minotaur.
Oh boy!
Because he was a minor.
It's not a Minotaur.
It's a
because they were on an island, Epstein Island.
No, it is Creta.
Plus full body of horse. A satyr is top half of man plus goat legs.
Satyr. Okay.
What? How did she say that?
Satyr.
Please, I need to hear that.
You wanted me to rewind it? Okay.
Yes, that one is
A
special.
unicorn is horse plus spike. A mermaid is top half of woman plus bottom half of fish. A minotaur is head of bull plus body of man. A centaur is top half of man plus full body of horse. A satyr is top half of man plus goat legs.
Satyr.
They're all clearly morphologically defined. You can mess with.
I think half of those letters were wrong.
There was the
Satyr has nothing to do with the Marquis de Sade.
Oh.
Although maybe thematically a little bit.
Okay.
So she is really going to make the
That was an
argument.
English word.
So she's really going to make the argument that you can fuck around with them less before they stop being that thing that's going to make dragons so universal. Completely missing the reason why dragons have such a great appeal in the medieval mind, and then going from there up to modern day.
Yeah,
Incomprehensible monster is not enough.
It's kind of weird. She just talked about all the variations of dragons in the beginning, that how they were shaped. The South American dragons, the Chinese, the Japanese, the European. They all look very specific. Not completely different, but yeah, pretty different. So she listed a bunch of other mythological creatures that are defined by Greek mythos and Roman mythos and all kinds of other mythological cultures. You're like, great. What's your point?
You got the Semitic quote unquote dragons like Behemoth and Leviathan, who serves more as a role of the world enders as beginnings of them getting sliced up to create the worlds as protective. Then you got the Norse dragons, who are more like morals to teach people, including the Beowulf dragon. You got the Chinese dragon; they're like symbolic of the wise mentor character. You got these South American dragons like Quetzalcoatl, who's a symbol of the apocalypse being staved off by bloodshed. Like, these are very different purposes. They are very different in how they're deployed, and so are also depicted very differently. None of this got tackled. It just got thrown in there to establish your actual point, is that dragons are so universal because they look different. Fuck off.
So the only through line is power.
I guess.
The designs a bit, but fundamentally their formula is what makes them what they are. If you take away 2 of the centaur's legs, he's not a centaur anymore. If you put wings on the unicorn, it's an alicorn, I think? It's definitely not a unicorn anymore. But a dragon? Add as many horns as you want, put on more legs or take them away, even the wings are negotiable. It's still a dragon. Where these other things are defined by their specificity, a dragon is defined by its lack of definition. We can
Really?
No, it's not a snake.
A thing is defined by its
It's
lack of a
not a
definition.
fucking
Are you
snake.
kidding me right now?
She was waiting
Sandworm,
40 minutes
sandworm.
for this banger to drop.
A car is not defined by its definition, so it doesn't have four wheels, it doesn't have an engine, it doesn't have a top, it doesn't have doors.
There are cars with three
Anything
wheels.
can be a car.
Anything could be a car. It's just a thing that you can't define.
Anything could be a truck if you think hard enough.
But this is so silly.
I will make a dragon out of you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, my brain cannot fathom the concept of dragon. As soon as I think of dragon, my brain goes, "Oh, it could be anything."
I
Listen,
think
Smud.
she's just trying to dilute the definition of dragon so that she can self-identify as a dragon.
Big.
Listen, Smud.
Welcome to Trope Talk, where I will say that this word can mean anything.
Listen, Smud. If I break your back and you fall down on all fours and I then inflate you till you're like 12 meters tall, you'll become a dragon.
Yeah, there we go.
I am dragon.
By all we want, but a sea serpent is still a dragon. And so is an 8-headed snake that really likes boobs. If it
Wyvern?
can't be classified as anything else, it can probably be a dragon. A dragon.
No, it
What?
doesn't. Shut up.
What kind of-
Wyvern.
why can't the writer do whatever they want?
Okay. On one hand, she is right in that dragons, as we understand them, does not like from modern fantasy with the definition of worm, like drake, all that stuff. Mythology doesn't care. It's all dragon. Like the ones that are such as Fafnir, Glaurung, Beowulf, unnamed dragon, like all that shit are dragons. Even the red dragon from biblical text is a dragon, despite looking more like a hydra. But that does not mean that fantasy authors cannot categorize them to make one thing more threatening than the other. As Whisp said, the through line is power, and some dragons will be more powerful than others. Leviathan would rip the shit out of Beowulf's unnamed dragon, and Nidhogg will probably rip the shit out of Leviathan, and so on, if they're the same creatures. Point is,
I now want a fighting game with the dragons.
it's a very weird point to try and argue that, oh, you shouldn't bother categorizing them. What if that writer wants to? As Matt said, why?
I will always draw the line. Giant animal is not automatically dragon.
A giant snake does not make it a dragon.
Exactly. So otherwise, sandworm.
I remember the ones in Pathfinder. Every color, there's even chromatic dragons, but every color of a dragon has a specific meaning, a purpose, where they came from. There's dragons that exist in alternate planes. They're called planar
That's
dragons.
racist.
Oh yeah.
It was all every color of dragon has specific attributes that all dragons of that color share.
Well, yeah, that's we call it the chromatic dragons, the red, the blue, the basic ones. But then there's like forest dragons. You have like lunar dragons. There's all kinds of dragons. There's primal dragons. So
Swamp dragons and astral dragons and void dragons and shadow
awesome.
Dragons and
it's awesome. So the
Cereal
writer,
dragons.
the writer, the creator of the story can define them and has defined them specifically in exactly the way they want. And to say, well, they're just generic, big, bad, powerful things. You're like, says who? Which writer? The ancient Greeks?
Undead Dragon is one of my favorite tropes in fantasy.
Yeah, it's the big, powerful, natural force that is unique to that region or that magic power or some ancient thing that is supposed to be personified as a creature. It doesn't have to be a literal personification. It could be just a force of nature as an animal. But to have a talking dragon as a character and represent a antagonist or a friend or foe, like that's great. You have more to it than just, it's just a big bad scary thing in the story. So, that's all dependent on the writer. So I don't see how this is bad. It's not some generic thing. This would be specific to fantasy.
And who doesn't want a dragon for a friend?
Or a hot, crazy neighbor who makes you cookies and burns them all the time.
Wife.
Wife is the other answer, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway.
That could also be a dragon.
In certain stories. Okay, here's Squintin Reviews.
Squintin?
I mean, if you're going to name someone with a Q, you put another consonant in front of it and make it sound better. Squintin. Red, let's talk about dragons. An imaginary creature that breathes fire and flies. Me, imagine dragging these balls across your forehead. Anyways, Red is fed easy layups, and she never managed to say something accidentally smart. It almost impressive. It's like she was in a room full of books that have the answer. All the books have the same answer, and she just reads the first paragraph or the first chapter, and just that's it. She's good. She runs with it. She never bothers to understand the chapter or keep going. She has a surface level. Here's all the information. You guys figure out what it means. Like, what?
Finishing your first semester is not having a PhD.
Yeah. Well. All right. Here's the copper. I'll thank you again for two, sir. Great. I'm in town. Oh, okay. I'm glad you're in town. But I slept through Red this time. It's not hard to do that, so I wouldn't blame you. It's hard to, like, what's she trying to say here? Oh, nothing. Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going.
Kind of creature. It's a category, like fairy or demon, with a few central characteristics and popular trends, but no strict morphological definition. This is why I never see the point of people arguing about dragon taxonomy.
That's
it's way
because
too
you
late to be
erase
worrying
it
about that now.
completely.
We've already been calling all of these things dragons for thousands of years. Anyway,
you
this
are.
built-in versatility.
This is kind of childish because she's saying we've used this word so many times for thousands of years, but we can't narrow it down. It's like if we have thousands of iterations of the thing called dragon, read the story with the dragon and tell me what it's about. And show me how it's described, and then that's your iteration. You go, oh, this is St. George and the Dragon. He has to go save the lady and kill the big creature.
Yeah.
Oh, so for some reason in the Western world, all these dragons look alike. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Just because like 8,000 miles away, like dragons look way different, like the Chinese ones.
Like she's giving the example of demon or angel or fairy or spirit. It's like it's not that generic. It is big enough to be whatever it described as. That's because it's been used so many times. And
It can be whatever you want it to be.
it's so big, I'll just say it's so generic I can't figure it out. It's like, no, you can definitely figure it out.
Why make a video about it?
It's so strange that at its base it's always a reptile.
Why is
But
that?
somehow it's also a flower, I guess.
It also usually has wings, but sometimes it doesn't have wings. It's like, oh, that's weird.
However,
It seems
it
like
feels
there's a certain part of the world, called Europe, where the dragon tends to have wings
Yeah.
and wants women for gold, like some kind of precious item. And there's somebody out there that's going to slay the dragon and take the gold or save the princess. Could that not be categorized as a dragon?
It's almost like it's a
Classical
metaphor.
dragon?
It's almost like it's a metaphor for doing well and striving hard and achieving a great victory and being praised for it and coming back in procession and helping out the community. It's like, there's all this meaning behind that. Why is that, Red? I think even Jordan Peterson talked about dragon within a span of 5 minutes that made a lot more sense than whatever she's trying to sell here.
He's got a couple of takes on dragons I find interesting, although I think his Belly of the Whale will probably live on way beyond himself.
Yeah, he
Like
likes
saving your father from the belly of the beast.
he likes that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's missing with her explanation, she's missing the point that there are other creatures that actually exist, where you also have big ones and small ones, and they all look kind of very different, like monkeys and apes, or all the felines. They still follow basic patterns. That's how we can classify them. But somehow for dragons that's not possible. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Too generic. I can't define it. There's so many. It's hard for me to follow. I can't make a list. I can't open a new spreadsheet. I don't know what to do. Oh my god.
We
Guys.
can categorize elves, and they're described as being men, but if you look at them hard enough, they turn into elves. That's all we know. That's really all we have from the text. We don't have the knife ears or the tall, slender forms that we get from modern culture. No, that's the myth that says that if you look a man in the eye, you'll know if he's an elf, if he's an elf. Yet we can manage to categorize those as elves from here, here, and here. And they are different elves. Or the elves from Ireland, like the Sealy and Unseelie. Very curious that we can do that, but we can't do that with dragons.
It's beyond human comprehension. We can't do it, guys. Okay.
They're Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah, it's so big. It's basically Lovecraft, and we may as well just stop using adjectives and descripting words. Just forget about it.
Grunt like cavemen.
Yeah, that's the best we got. Just, dragon.
In the end, there is only Azathoth.
All right, we're at 15 minutes. We got 3 more left. Hopefully, there's a big ad from that Forge thing she keeps selling every freaking video.
Plus, power behind the trope is a big part of why dragons are so popular, and because of that, they're really weighty. A dragon in your story isn't just a dragon. It's got the full weight of thousands of years of power-based tropes behind it. An ultimate enemy, a divine protector, a monster to slay, a curse to dispel, a treasure to win, a village to save. There's always something in the implications that makes them automatically important. Dragons are the iconic fantasy creature because they represent the full spectrum of what you can do with fantasy. Magic, curses, good versus evil, treasure, battle, heroic rescues, riding a motherfucking dragon because hell yeah! Dragons aren't rigidly defined, which means they have near limitless potential, which makes them the perfect symbol of a genre built on exploring the unrealistic and the fantastical. Dragons are awesome because dragons have always been awesome. In the most literal sense, awe-inspiring. Like I said, their defining characteristic is power. If you make a dragon, you're echoing sources from all over the world and every period of history reiterating that. It's trope subversive just to make a dragon.
No, you can't compare Nidhogger to a dragon you're meant to slay with a bow and arrow. They serve 2 very different purposes.
Aw, how cute. You'd think you could kill Nidhogger with a teeny tiny bow and arrow. Show him what would happen, Wall.
I don't have the words to explain how fast you'd fucking disappear if you try that shit, because Nidhogger isn't it is not a foe to be vanquished. It is an explanation for how earthquakes came about. That's it. Of course, you can add additional stuff to it. Like, you can add the ties to Satan that supposedly Nidhogger consumes the souls of the evil, like at the bottom of the roots of the tree. But at its heart, it's just a metaphor or an explanation for the shaking of the world, because it knows that the roots that heal faster than it can eat them. It is not a giant bullseye, is my point. You would not put Nidhogg in there. If you wanted to have Nidhogg as he serves in Norse myth, you would not have him be there to be slain.
Just a force of nature.
All right, 2 more minutes.
Small, so built in that they have to be huge and dangerous. And even if the dragon is dealing with a bunch of other similarly huge and dangerous things, its dragonness alone will elevate it and make it stand out from the crowd. I've seen some people suggest that dragons are automatically cool because they're the ultimate fusion of every primal threat hard-coded into humanity. Venomous snakes, big cats, predatory birds, also fire. I get this argument, and dragons are definitely equipped to be the ultimate apex predator, but I think that's actually selling them kinda short. Dragons are really cool because they don't have to be any of those things to be a dragon, while the modern image of a stereotypical...
My brain is just shutting down. I'm like, what is she talking about? They don't have to be any of these things to be a dragon. So there's no definition of dragon, but you saying that definition's wrong.
Because there are different types of dragons, there are no dragons. Therefore, there are all dragons.
I don't get it. This is like, let's throw logic out the door and reference. Just make shit up now.
She's making a weird Hegelian hermetic circular logic.
If there is no commonality between dragons and dragon, does not mean jack shit. and doesn't have the draw that it has, which it does. It has a unmistakable draw to almost every single person on the planet. They at least recognize what it is and what it represents.
All right. Well, that's the conclusion she came at least I think this is the end of her video. That
Please.
it's this,
Finish it.
this amorphous solution that I don't know what it is. It could be anything. You're like, oh, okay, sure. I guess so.
Dragon is a scaly, fire-breathing winged quadruped with one head, two eyes, some horns, and assorted spikes. If you want to call your primordial multi-headed sea serpent or your feathered flying snake or your usually human-shaped bad guy a dragon, nobody's gonna stop you. And because of what it means to be a dragon, the audience will know to expect something powerful and important no matter what shape it is. And it's funny, even a character who's not physically a dragon in any way can still get that.
People will usually classify a hydra as a hydra and a dragon as a dragon.
Yeah,
Not a dragon as not a hydra.
She just made this point a few minutes ago about, it could be a demon, could be a fairy. It's like, yeah, it's whatever the writer chooses what a fairy is or a dragon is. You're right. That's called writing. That doesn't help us what the etymology and history of dragons are, though.
For reference, to dispute her point about how dragons are amorphous while stuff like demons aren't, or fairies aren't, elves, dwarves, those very well-defined creatures were both counted as fairies from their own fucking myths.
Yeah.
Sometimes orcs can't be regarded as black people.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes even orcs cannot be considered black people. They need a different scapegoat.
Trope talk, black people.
A multi-headed dragon is also not the same as a hydra. A hydra is a very specific type of multi-headed beast.
Yes, it's almost like it came from a very specific story that had served a very specific point.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, we're almost done, and I can take a nap after this.
That kind of being nicknamed after a dragon. I ran a Twitter poll asking about people's favorite dragons, and one of the most common answers was Uncle Iroh, the dragon of the West. And also, let's be real, the ultimate fusion of human primal fears would probably have a lot more spiders involved. So,
That's just you.
yeah.
That's
And thanks to
cheating.
World Anvil.
That's cheating in my book.
As you may know,
Spiders.
World Anvil is a browser.
She's done. Oh my god.
Oh, it's got
Wow,
spiders.
what a
No, it is.
load of waste of time.
Can't just
was-
use my fear and fucking slap it on Dragon and call it a day. That's lazy as fuck.
That was great.
Come on now, Red.
That was like the most intellectually side shot. Like I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna say it's anything. Like what? A ghost
For
is
a moment,
anything?
I like a smart, like you were about to say, like intellectually absent video you have ever seen.
It took some intelligence to come up with no answer. You could she went through it and then she went, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it's nothing.
I don't know.
It's
I
the
asked
rap-
Twitter about who is the biggest dragon, and it's Uncle Iroh.
It's the reptile/snake and not the spider, because the snake is the most ancient predator of humanity.
But it's not a predator of
Sitting on-
humanity.
Sitting on trees.
All right, we
Not
got
a
Except
predator
for
of
that weird
humanity,
cat.
though. The ancient hunter of humanity was a giant cat that went after primates, which we genocided. You'd think if it had something to do with, somebody that hunts humans, we would
which
have.
cat you mean.
Yeah,
The one with the giant tooth to snap your skull from behind.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Ice Age. Yeah.
Yeah, but snakes are so ingrained that threat detection gets triggered by seeing a garden hose in the grass. That makes most people jump out of the blue without even thinking of snakes. It's just threat.
right, but that does not make it a hunter of humans.
It doesn't need to be a hunter of humans. It's enough to be the random bullshit threat that comes around your tree.
The kind of thread that when you see red in a video and you just like jump away from it for the rest of your life. like what I'm gonna do.
I don't know what's going
That
on.
was fun.
I don't know what's going on in this meme or whatever this image is, but a guy is saving the dragon as opposed to saving the damsel chained to a rock. It's like, what?
So original. I have never seen that before.
I don't.
Wait, let me see.
It's
So further my expectation.
I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. Dragon's like, what? What's going on? It's Spyro, the diabetic dragon. He has ate too many humans. Dragons according to Western mythology. Dragons according to Japanese anime. Okay, I can identify some of those.
What a story, Mark. Well, I'm gonna take a break now.
All right.
Blue eyes.
See you guys.
Take it easy. Oh my goodness. What?
Beauty and the blue eyes, white dragon.
This is...
I'm now Kaiba in the...
It's Kaiba. Okay, some reference I don't get. Women have become unnecessary. Sexy dragon made cosplayer is actually a guy? Really? With cleavage like that? That's impressive for a guy. Even if they're fake.
That's prosthetics with makeup.
Yeah, that's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Female fantasy, you have no personality, average looks, and make no effort at likability, but men are attracted to you anyway. That's good. Male fantasy, you're likely to die a horribly painful death, but you'll die fighting alongside your brothers for something greater than yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds good. It's a good way to go. Maybe at the end of your life, but not right now. What we got here? That looks... I'm not sure what that is, actually.
That's for My Little Pony.
Really? Okay.
And then there's more Kobayashi made.
There it is, the famous anime of dragons in the East. And I think almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dragons there. Yep.
Easy to spot.
That is, I don't know where that's from.
Fire Emblem.
That's Fire Emblem? Okay, cool. I was gonna say like Sweet Coating, but it's like not quite.
Does anyone know Dragon Half?
That sounds familiar. Yes, I think I do.
Good. Watch Dragon Half. There's only 1.5 episodes.
Okay. Oh, that's not a pebble. My Dragonstone. Okay. Let's see. You survived this, Plumber Boy. Is that Wario? What is that?
Oh, it's Bowser, and then he's riding a fucking dragon.
That's Bowser? He's wearing a top hat? Okay.
And it's a bit jarring seeing fucking, cartoony Bowser, and then it's just Dark
This
Souls.
Final
dragon.
Fantasy Dragon.
Let's see your bow do shit against Nidhogg now, Plumber Boy.
So, this is the guy from Yu-Gi-Oh! And he likes dragons.
Kaiba.
Kaiba? Yeah, okay. That's his thing. He loves dragons. Fair enough. The player character transforms into a dragon. Breath of Fire? Yes, that's right. All 4 of them, I believe. The main character, Ryu, transforms into a dragon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the leg lamp.
There it is. What a great lamp. See, that's what she said. She said, it was lamp, right? I heard lamp. It was
I think, no, sacrificial lamb.
It reminds me of that Japanese parasol demon.
really.
That's an obscure one.
Good morning. I hate women. Oh my God. What happened?
He's a Muslim.
He just every day is just bang getting torn apart by women. I hate women. Oh my God.
He woke up and said to the world, "Why should I apologize for being a misogynist? The women haven't apologized for making me one."
Let her go. It's me you
It's
want.
me you want.
Oh jeez. Me after Red gets finished telling me about the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my life. Common occurrence. If you get the opportunity, you should kill yourself. Jesus.
Dragon from Heroin Hero.
Heroin hero. Oh my God. 8 syringes. Smack. Oh, okay.
And it's Dragon Tales.
I tell my kids this was Game of Thrones. Oh, that's probably a
That
better
looks
idea.
horrible.
Yeah. Probably a better story. Judge,
Probably a finished story.
how do you plead, me and the boys, after the GC got leaked? Death penalty. What is this? Ha-ata. What is this?
Oh, that's a dragon girl throwing a punch.
Oh, really?
Probably in reference to Thomas regarding wife dragon.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, there's plenty of female forms with various versions of Animal Cross. And we got, what is this?
It's a very fat dragon
Let's get 3D
rolling.
animation. Yeah, I don't know.
That might be from Train Your Dragon.
The Boogeyman of Dragons, it's over Dragonborn. You can't defeat me, I know, but he can. Oh, no.
Hey there, you oversized hot stuff.
Okay.
Oh no.
Any wizard born after IE 993 can't summon. All they know is vaporize goblins, ponders they orb, fuse metals, cast fireball, drink magic potions, and lie? Is that like part of like D&D lore or something?
No, it's just a meme.
Oh, okay. Not all dragons have to be organic to count. Okay. Dragon Zord, I think.
Godzilla Zord.
Godzilla Zord? Something
No,
like
it's the I think Green Power Rangers Lord.
that. The red one? I can't tell.
Green one.
That's the green one.
Can't
Girl-
tell by the color.
Girls with autism versus boys with autism. Hi, I'm 19 years old and autistic. Okay. And he looks like he's a legionnaire or something. What is that?
Yeah.
He's a Roman fighter or something. I can't tell. Okay, we got what the heck?
That looks stupid.
Then we have Ultraman getting in a headlock with all his tails. Oh, yeah.
No Spyro memes?
Feminism.
That's Tiamat.
Then we have the princess dragon, or dragon princess, whatever you want to call her. Nothing is fun anymore. N-words when they throw their first brick at a homeless person. Jeez.
People seem to have just gotten bored listening to her here in the last half.
Oh, God, yeah. That
Oh,
is-
lovely.
I don't know what that
What a
is.
nice long dragon.
Nice
That's a
song,
bad
Yu-Gi-Oh!
dragon.
Yeah, finally, I got my bad dragon off the list.
When Red keeps on talking without getting the point, the 3 stages of losing your shit. Thomas has been through enough. I've seen enough bullshit. The astronomical amount of bullshit that Thomas has seen here has thrown him into a blind rage. Okay.
All right, that's the unicorn ice cream.
I'm a unitard.
Game had to be referenced to at least once because dragons and red sucks all the fun out of anything. Okay, I don't.
The size kink meme. I remember that. That was funny.
Yeah. Weird. Downvoted. Shota playing flute. Okay. And then, of course, why are you gay? That's good. Oh dear, what am I looking at? I don't.
The Peter Griffin image or the dragon going, ah!
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
It's kink, like it's size kinking him. Or size shame, excuse me.
Sybil Shepherd is why is Sybil Shepherd is there a movie she was in? I don't.
No, it was a clip in Family Guy for one of the cutaway gags where Peter has to slay her.
This is
Next, hey, are you there yet? Next to a big dragon. I'm always regarded as a landmark source when I wait for you in crowded places. Uncomfortable. Should we meet at the park next time?
Perhaps I am a dragon. Thanks. There's the other. Is that not the same one? That looks like the same one, I think.
I don't know what that one's from.
My dragon wife Booba. All right, there you go. That is what Whisp was talking
Oh,
about?
it has a sandal. Different umbrella demon thing.
Move over, blue
Yeah, I
eyes.
think they have. Yeah, you're right. They have sandals.
I use Saphira, Queen of Dragons. Okay. That's
Why does it have boob cup?
Aye. Slonkin fat doinks with a fucking dragon. What? That's great.
I remember that the edited names for D&D adventures are fantastic.
I actually didn't read them. I saw the covers though, because when you go to the fantasy section, this is like 80s at least. You'd see all these books, like Choose Your Own Adventure, because that was the new thing. And you're like, what is Choose Your Own Adventure? And you're like, they look like fantasy books, but there's like sci-fi fantasy and normal sci-fi, Choose Your Own Adventure. So yeah, the artist was the same. Was it Dragonlance, or it looks the same style? Could be another.
Wonkin' fat doinks with a fucking dragon.
The dragon cock fan walks in. All right.
Dragon.
Lamp.
Oh, that's this thing is the thing we were talking about. Yeah.
Old T-shirts I last used 4 years ago, but refused to throw away. Me. Yeah, you got a lot of people got a lot of old clothes to get rid of. Or ancient. It's a good idea. Anyway, that was Red. It's always weird watching her stuff. It's kind of hard to swallow sometimes.
What is there to swallow?
Well, I mean, she has some degree of intellect, but it's just so like. Anyway, I think we played around with that long enough. How long? Not even an hour. Oh, it is up past an hour. Sorry, an hour and 17 minutes. Thanks, guys. Red is not for everyone, but if you turn your brain on, your brain will start to hurt. So probably not the best idea to listen to her stuff. But, you know, we went through it. You might have learned a little bit about some lore. Maybe not. But a dragon is like any mythical beast. It has meaning behind it in certain cultures and certain stories. And to use the word has cultural relevance, especially when referring to a certain historical text. And she just sort of glazed over that, aside from just saying they exist as such the first 5 minutes, without giving us any context as to what that meant. And then she has the audacity to say, "Oh yeah, no, there's just too many. You can't figure them out," which is silly. Anyway, whew. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but hopefully we get a nice video. And I think was it Gingaman wanted to be on for something? I can't recall.
Yeah, Gingaman wanted to be part of the Append stream if we can get him on board.
Oh, yeah, we'll find out. Hopefully we'll have enough time and organizational skills to put that together. So thanks for your efforts and suggestions. Keep the voting coming. We'll see what we have for, I don't know, Sunday or maybe just Monday, depending. I don't know if we're taking a break on Sunday. But it's getting busy. I don't know about you, but it's getting busy near the end of the month, or coming on to the end of the month. Christmas and all the festivities. Organization and family and friends and all kinds of jazz. Just busy. So hopefully you guys have some time to relax, read a book, chill out, watch an anime even, or read a manga. That might be enough time out of your day. Just to chill, have a good time, keep warm. It's getting colder these days. So please take it easy.
Yeah. And remember, Smud, the air was heavy and the temperature was hot.
You fucking asshole. You can't just throw that one out there.
Anyway, have a great night, everyone.